All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Again, I want to just thank you all for taking the time to join us for this session. I think I'm going to keep the camera on for a change just to add a little bit of personality to the session. You can tell I'm getting a little more comfortable with these virtual webinars now that we're into, I don't know, is it month four, month three, month four now that this has been going on? I see that we've got well over 100 attendees so far in the session. As Stephen has pointed out in the chat box, if you've got any questions, please type them in the Q&A or the chat box so that Stephen can answer them. It will be hard for me to answer them throughout the presentation just because I'm focusing on the slides, excuse me. So, but we will get to all of your answers, rather all of your questions. And I hope this is going to be a very informative session for you. And if I'm looking at different screens, it's because I've got the slides over here and I've got your chat box over here. So just so I can keep everything going. So on that note, let's get things kicked off. It's been quite an exciting year for us at SSQ. As hopefully you all heard, in January, we announced the pending merger of our two companies, ourselves and La Capitale. That came into effect on July the 1st. So we are now officially the largest mutual company in Canada. Very proud and excited about what this holds for the future for both organizations that are now one. We don't have a new name for the organization. That'll all be announced in the fall. And it's important that you all know that for the balance of this year, everything is going to be status quo. We're not making any changes with our procedures. The companies are working independent as we always have. And presumably in the next year, in January of 2021, you'll start to see the benefits of the merger at that point. It was also, so as a result of the merger, we now have almost 5,000 employees. We're the sixth largest insurance company in Canada, and I guess we'll, by the end of this year, hopefully we'll be even more competitive than that. We are, seventh largest in terms of seg funds, 5 billion in gross premiums. It really is staggering, and I think a lot of that has also attributed to this new announcement that came on June 8th, which is Jean-Francois Chalafaux, who is our CEO, being named as the chairman of the board of directors for CLHIA. I think this is great recognition for what we've been able to achieve in the brokerage market in the last number of years. This will inevitably give us a larger voice in the insurance industry, and as a significant player, we'd like to have more say as to how the industry is run and how we can better serve clientele. So this is great for SSQ and great for Jean-Francois Chalafaux. We're very proud of him and of our organization. And now here we are on June 23rd, launching our new Simplified issue product. And it's a very competitive space. In the last 5, 6, 7 years, there have been a lot of new players to this market for a lot of good reason. And we'll go through all of that in this presentation. We're going to cover the reason why we got into the market, how it competes with our own product, how it competes with those that are already in this market space. And if we have time, we're going to go through an e-app demonstration for you as well, so you can see how it works firsthand. And again, just a reminder for those of you who've joined since we got started, if you've got any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat box. You're all muted right now just for everybody's convenience, and we'll definitely get to all of your questions. This presentation is being recorded. You will receive an email afterwards giving you a link to this presentation if you'd like to hear it again. See my beautiful smiling face. But we're also going to send you the slides so that you've got access to all of this. Probably will also include some additional information for your benefit. But reach out to your wholesaling team all across the country if you've got any questions, if you'd like to know more. We'd be happy to talk to you and hopefully earn your business. So today's agenda, what are we going to be covering today? Actually, I'm just going to put my presentation slides up here so I can see it easier. Okay, so what are we going to be presenting today? We're going to show you the research that went into why we developed this product, what we believe the market opportunity to be, how it complements our existing incredible product lineup product shelf, and how our speed differentiates from everything else in the marketplace. Like I said, we're going to compare our current product to the new Simplified issue product so that you can see firsthand how this is really available not just for people that are, less than average health, but even healthy clients in many instances are going to want to look at this product. I'm going to focus on the product specifics, the features, the benefits, and most importantly, the three really competitive areas where we shine: speed, price, which is second to none, and compensation, which is also second to none. All things that hopefully ring true and are of interest to you. And then finally, as I said, the e-app demonstration. So where did we start? Like every product should start, it starts with the client. And we did some research. In fact, we hired the company that is doing the research and the marketing behind the merger of La Capitale and SSQ to help us with the research for this product as well. And I'm sure it's not a surprise to you, but life insurance still isn't something that people wake up in the morning and want to buy. It still needs to be sold because of a number of reasons. But the reality is, consumers still want to own it. They know that it's important. They know that it's the responsible thing to do to protect their families. And there was a LIMRA study that was released back in May. And what it found was over the last 10 years, consumers actually are looking to buy more insurance. And in the last year alone, I think the number was 67% in the last year alone is the increase in the number of people that want to buy insurance simply to leave a legacy, to leave an inheritance for that next generation. And maybe it's because of everything that's going on in the world, not just our current pandemic, but I think a lot of what's been going on has brought families closer together, and it's allowed us to realize that we are not immortal and that we need to protect one another. And so it's become extremely important. And 36% of those respondents in the survey also said that they're looking to buy insurance within the next 12 months. So there's an incredible opportunity, 36%. That's huge. They probably don't know where to begin, and that's where they need you. The second point that we want to talk about is price is important, and I think we can always appreciate that. But peace of mind is going to take precedence. And consumers, in the absence of value, they focus on price. So it's really up to you to identify for them what the value is and why perhaps it is more important not to focus on price, but to look at some of the other benefits that you can offer, whether it's in your practice or in the products that you're positioning in front of the client, that sometimes the best price isn't always in the best interest of the client. Third, clients really have been trained to get what they want when they want it. And, just ask Jeff Bezos at Amazon. He'll attest to that, especially in the recent months when we can't go shopping as easily. So people are doing much more online. I use Shazam to look up music, songs that I don't recognize on the radio. I'll look it up that way. Or Google, at your fingertips in seconds, you can have access to information and resources like never before. Consumers are expecting that now. And when they make a decision, especially insurance, as we said earlier, they don't wake up in the morning wanting to buy life insurance, but when they make the decision that they want it, there's probably been some decision factor that led to that, some event. And now they really want it. And it's funny, I'm sure you've gone through it yourself. You've taken months or a year or years to convince a client to proceed with getting life insurance, and they put it off, put it off, put it off. And then as soon as they submit that application, every day they're asking you, what's the status? Have I been approved? What's going on? It becomes urgent for them. That is the case today. Once consumers decide they want something, they want it. And so speed now is becoming more important. And let's face it, unfortunately, underwriting hasn't gotten quicker, traditional underwriting, that is. So this might be another option for you for those marginally, average health clients or even the healthy clients. Excuse me. The fourth point is that clients still need you. And this hasn't changed. In the 10-year survey that was done by LIMRA, they found that consumers at the end of the day still want to talk to a licensed professional. They've done all their research, they've gone online, they believe that they know what they want, but the more research they do, the more they find that what it is that we offer is very confusing. They don't know the difference between YRT and level cost of insurance, or whole life and universal life, or term, or even the difference between and underwriters and reinsurance. Like, they don't understand all of this stuff. And so again, the more information that they obtain and the more research they do, the more they realize they don't know enough to make an educated decision. So it comes back to you. And that LIMRA study that I was referring to earlier also found that 25% of consumers are actively looking for an advisor today, which makes it so much more important for you to be putting yourself out there, talking to your clients, asking for introductions, putting yourself out there on the internet, whether it's through social media or some type of web presence, doing seminars, whatever it needs to be, because consumers don't know where to find you. And as I said, right now, with everything going on in the world, probably more than ever, they know that they need to focus on protecting themselves and their families, what matters most. So take that opportunity. All right, so we did the research and then we looked at the market and we thought, who is this best going to serve? And we've already talked about some of those people, but let's talk about the people that they've submitted applications and maybe they've got diabetes or maybe they've got depression, things that ultimately are going to require an APS. That process, as we all know, can take a long time. It can lead to policies not being taken or withdrawn. 80 to 90% of applications that are submitted to SSQ or any company for that matter are going to be approved standard or better. The question is, how long is it going to take to get there? And with everything going on right now, I think we've all also seen that the delays are getting longer and longer just because of bottlenecks in the system, pressure that we put on the paramed companies because they were closed and now they're open, so they're trying to get caught up on old cases. There's a lot of pressure right now, which could lead to more policies being not proceeded with or withdrawn. So this is perhaps another opportunity for you to consider simplified issue products. Again, even if it's going to be a little bit more expensive, maybe the client is going to see the value in it regardless. We looked at how you do business. And much of that really hasn't changed in the hundreds of years that we've been selling insurance. You still have to meet with the client. You still have to determine what is their need for insurance. You still need to assess their health so you can position with them whether there's going to be a decline or rating, a postponement, the level of information that you're going to need to obtain from them. But what really has changed in arguably the last 5 to 7 years is the choices that you have and that your client has. With the players in the simplified issue space, the big players, they've done an incredible job, not just in marketing these products, but making the process easier. The application process is easier than it's ever been. Pricing has come down dramatically because of the amount of competition. All of these companies getting into this space has really driven down the pricing. And I think the questions now are becoming much more lenient than they ever have been because of experience. The underwriters, the reinsurers, we all have a lot more experience in underwriting these types of cases. So it's made it a lot easier for us to make the process easier. The questions, some companies have more questions than others, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. But I think it's really important to realize that you've got more choice than ever, and this is just another item in your toolkit that you're going to be able to offer to your clients. Underwriting, I'll briefly talk about our current underwriting process for our traditional products. We've extended it until the end of August currently. So the no medical limit up to $1 million to age 50 is still in place. At older ages, that's decreased. For CI, it's still up to $250,000 to age 40. So those are still in place for you and your clientele. This product is designed up to $500,000 of coverage, and you can see there's an overlap in terms of the no medical options that you have with SSQ now. You can go traditional, or you can go with the simplified issue product so that you've got that choice. And it really depends on what you and the client decide is necessary. And let's talk about that for a second. Now, because we've got an already great traditional lineup of products, you can go to your client and say, listen, if you're looking for something that's priced incredibly well, that has a number of bells and whistles that you might not find in any other product offering in the marketplace, we can look at a traditional product at SSQ. But if price isn't as important, if you're willing to pay, as you can see on the slide here, 3 to 15% more for your coverage, and in some cases, I've run some illustrations for individuals, say in their 30s, we're talking maybe $25 a year in difference, in price difference. So it's almost inconsequential, but you don't have to go through underwriting. You don't have to have some stranger come into your house to ask you a whole bunch of personal questions about, your drug usage or your other lifestyle issues. You don't need to have a paramedical nurse come in, another stranger, and take fluids from you. If you want to avoid all of that and you're willing to pay a little bit more, here's another option for you. Again, if you're in good health or maybe you're a little below average health. And I think before the end of this presentation, I'll highlight some of those key individuals. I've already talked about a couple individuals with, type 2 diabetes or, with depression, issues that can always lead to an APS and some delays and additional questions. We can avoid all of that with the new simplified issue product. So let's look at a comparison now between the traditional product and our new simplified issue product. Whether it's whole life, term, smoker, non-smoker, male, female, it doesn't matter. The difference in price all the way up to $500,000 is going to be on average 3 to 15%. The closer you get to $500,000 with our traditional product, the bigger the gap is going to be, just because we are so competitively priced with our banding options. So bear that in mind. But at those lower face amounts, the price difference can be inconsequential, again, regardless of the product. And here's just an example. We've got a T10 and a T20 up on the screen here. 75,000, 150, 300,000. Again, as you can see, 3 to 13% is the difference in price. Now that was for a male term. For non-smoker, for smoker, you'll see that it's the same. And then for whole life, whether it's male or female, again, the range is between 3 and 15%. So extremely competitive pricing if you're familiar with our already great pricing at SSQ for our traditional products. Now, let's talk about speed. This is really an area where we are differentiating ourselves from the rest of the market. In the simplified issues space, questions often dictate the speed. How many questions? Is it 10 questions, 20 questions, 30 questions? How many questions do I have to go through with the client in order to get an answer as to what product they're going to qualify for? We decided not to focus on that or to make that a competitive advantage. We have, I believe, 23 questions, and that's fine. It really doesn't take very long for you to go through these questions with your client. Where we decided to make a difference, though, was in delivery. From the time you go through the application to it getting issued to it actually being delivered to your client, all of that is done in less than an hour. Less than 60 minutes, 7 days a week, you will be able to have a policy in your client's hands. That is really second to none. And that's one of the biggest areas where we are differentiating ourselves. All right, so not in terms of the questions, but in terms of the speed. And that really, again, goes back to clients wanting what they want when they want it. So here you have an opportunity to say to those clients, listen, if you want it now, here's the best option for you in the marketplace. And that's what you said. In the research, we were told that all things being equal, if I can get a policy in my client's hands faster, I'm going to deal with that company. So hopefully that's reason number one why you're going to pick up the phone, talk to your wholesaler, make sure that you're contracted with us, or go through the process with your client to submit an application so that you can see for yourself firsthand how quick and easy it's going to be. So as I said, from application to policy delivery in less than an hour. That also means you get paid faster too. So we already pay commissions, well, faster than anybody else. Nobody certainly does it faster than us because we pay daily, Monday to Friday, 5 days a week. We do our commission runs. So basically within 24 hours of a sale for this product, you're going to get paid. I think we all like to have those commissions come in a little bit quicker. So bear that in mind as well. Let's now do a comparison of our simplified issue product to that of the market. It was really important for us, obviously, to be the fastest, but we also wanted to make sure that we were competitive in terms of our pricing as well as our compensation. So let's go through that. But before we do, we're going to talk about the product itself. It's Both a guaranteed issue and a simplified issue. So to make it simple, we'll focus on the guaranteed issue first. The guaranteed issue product is pretty much similar to what you're going to find in the rest of the marketplace, with the exception of the speed of delivery. It is guaranteed issue. There's no health questions that are being asked other than, are you terminally ill? If you're terminally ill, then we're not going to issue this policy for a variety of reasons. As with any other guaranteed issue product, there's a 2-year deferral on the death benefit. So if the client dies due to natural causes in that first 2 years, the death benefit isn't paid. If they die in an accident, however, then yes, the death benefit is paid. If we aren't able to pay the death benefit because of natural causes being the result of the death, we do return those premiums to your client. The maximum face amount is $50,000. It's the highest of what's in the industry. Nobody has a higher face amount. And as you can see on the screen, it's available up to age 80. As far as the simplified issue product goes, you've got an option between T10, T20, and simplified whole life. The T10 and T20 products, the maximum face amount on that is $500,000, which is extremely competitive. I think the average in Canada for face amount for policies is $300,000 or $400,000. So, it's higher than the average consumer is purchasing. What really differentiates us, though, are, well, 3 key things. First, as you can see on the screen, rate bands. In the simplified issue space, we're the only ones that offer banding. And why is that important? Well, basically, for any coverage that you're looking at over $100,000, we are going to be head and shoulders more competitive than the rest of the marketplace because of the banding. Under $100,000, we're going to be competitive, but nobody is going to touch us when you look at face amounts over $100,000. 2 other features that are going to differentiate us from the rest of the market include the extreme disability benefit. So this, if you're familiar with SSQ, is available already on all of our life products. And how the extreme disability benefit works is, if your client is unable to perform 4 out of the 6 activities of daily living, we will advance to them $250,000, or 50%, the lesser of the 2. And it's not a loan. It's an advance, so that they can deal with this unfortunate new reality that they've been dealt with. Lots of companies have compassionate assistance or terminal illness plans, and those are great benefits. Like our product, our traditional product offers that as well. What differentiates this, though, is the financial impact to somebody who, let's say, is in an accident and becomes a paraplegic, would be something that they'd have to deal with for years, decades possibly. And that financial consequence would be huge. So this, I think, is an incredible benefit that's included in all of our life products, and we decided to include it in this one as well. The 5-year renewal option also is something that is often overlooked, but I think offers great value as well. Because let's face it, the only people that really care about renewal premiums are the people who are uninsurable at the time of renewal and can't replace that product with a new product. And maybe in some instances, they're only uninsurable today because they had an abnormal test result a few months ago, or maybe they have some pending investigations coming up. So without this, in the absence of this, if you've got a T20 renewing for another 20 years, the price increase is quite dramatic. And in most cases, the clients can't afford it, so they terminate the policy. The 5-year renewal option, whether it's on this product or the traditional product that we offer, buys them time. It makes it affordable for them to maybe keep the policy for a year or 2 or 3 or 5, if necessary, at an affordable price, while they investigate their insurability options elsewhere, or their needs, for that matter, elsewhere. So don't underestimate the value of that. You can find that in the illustration itself. If you don't subscribe rather to Life Guide, I would encourage you to look at winquote.net. It's a free service. You can get pricing comparisons, whether it's traditional products, or you can choose the simplified option under the underwriting risk category and look at a comparison between our product and the rest that are in the marketplace. And it'll even show you renewal premiums in there as well. With regards to our whole life options, whether simplified or guaranteed issue, there are no cash values available. And the reality is, very few, if ever, have I seen people cancel these policies. I mean, let's face it, we don't get healthier as we get older typically. We usually get less healthy. And as a result, it makes the value of this insurance policy even greater the longer you have it. So why on earth would you cancel it? Sure, flexibility might be an option, but hopefully with the cost savings that you're getting by buying this product, your client will have the ability to maybe put some money aside for those emergencies should they arise and not be forced to cancel their policy. These policies, both the guaranteed and simplified whole life products, do have reduced paid up options available, though if they can't afford to continue to fund the policies, and that starts in year 5 for the guaranteed issue product or year 6 for the simplified issue product. I can see people are asking some questions. Feel free to continue to ask questions in the chat box, and Stephen will answer them for you. Let's talk about price, because I'm sure you're all wondering how competitive is this. Sean keeps saying it's so competitive. Well, prove it. Let's look first of all at our whole life options. We're going to look at a male non-smoker, $75,000. As I said, we offer banding. So under $100,000, we are basically in the same category as everybody else in terms of cost per thousand. So, at older ages, we are much more competitive. At those younger ages, we might be 10, 12% more expensive. So you'd have to decide, is the speed, are the additional benefits that we include worth it to pay that extra 10, 12%? Hopefully in some cases. But where we really shine is in higher face amounts. At $150,000, now you can see, and this is for the whole life, we are 4 to 17% less expensive than the competition. And again, the higher the face amount because of banding, the cheaper and the bigger that discrepancy is going to be between us and the competition. I'm not going to tell you who company A, B, and C is, but I'm pretty sure you can figure out who the top 3 players are in the simplified issue space outside of SSQ. It's the same for females or males. As I said earlier on, you're looking at saving substantially either way for any face amounts over $100,000. Where we really make a difference, though, is in term. Here's $150,000 for a male non-smoker. You're looking at 30, 40% cheaper rates for T10 than the competition. I'm just going to let that sink in for a bit. If we increase it to $300,000, now we're approaching and exceeding 50% difference between the competition and ourselves, and at 500,000, almost 60%. Significant price savings. And as I said, that was for a male for T10. For T20, as you can see, likewise, significant savings, 20 to 40% at 150,000, even more at 300,000, and even more at 500,000. And the same would go for females. I'm not going to go through them all, but for female, T10, T20, substantial savings regardless. Smoker rates as well. You're going to find 15 to 30% savings for the male smokers. At 500,000, it's almost 40% and approaching 40% at higher face amounts, or rather older ages. Simplified issue, male smoker, 150,000 for T20. Again, substantial savings. So I'm not going to go through it all. I'll skip it. How about compensation? Now, in whole life, we are going to be the same, if not better, in terms of FYC. Your renewal premiums from years 2 to 5, and basically over the first 10 years, you're not going to get paid more with anybody else. But a key differentiator here, and a common complaint that I hear from many advisors, is that renewal premiums often stop at year 10. Well, we are the only provider that is going to continue to pay renewal premiums, whether it's T20 or whole life, beyond year 10. Here's the term compensation schedule where, again, even our T20 or T10s, if they renew, are going to pay renewal premiums beyond year 10. Another difference, though, is our T10 and T20 commission rates are the same as we use for our traditional product. So T10, we're going to be the highest in the industry at 42.5% FYC. T20, you're getting as much as 25% more compensation, 50% FYC than the competition. So we've talked about the fact that it's going to be underwritten and issued and delivered to your client in under an hour. Pricing, you're going to see savings of 15 to 60% in some cases, depending on the age and the face amount that you're applying for. Compensation, you're going to get paid as much as 25% more than you are with the competition. Hopefully, that's almost enough reason for you to at least come to us and give us a shot. What I do want to now talk about beyond speed, I'll just highlight this again. We pay commissions Monday to Friday, but we don't shut down for this product 7 days a week. You can sell this and have it delivered to your client in under an hour. As I said, we just need you to give us a shot once. And I'm going to help position where this product fits best for your clients. And if you want to talk about it further, reach out to myself or the rest of your wholesaling team across the country. We're going to be continuing to do live webinars, a number of sessions one-on-one for you. There's lots of tutorials online, lots of marketing support, but I think first and foremost, the best resource for you is going to be your wholesaler. And before I get into the marketing of this product, I'll just put up on the screen here for you your wholesaling team all across the country, depending on where you are. If you're not sure, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be happy to direct you to the appropriate person. I can be found at sean.redford@ssq.ca. So before we get into the e-app demonstration, how are we for time? We're 1:30. Okay, perfect. So I want to highlight for you the product because we've got a few weeks under our belt now, and I've been fortunate to have worked in the simplified issue space for several years now. So I'd like to share with you how to position this, where to position this in the market. So first, there's basically 4 key marketing areas or individuals that you're talking to. The individuals that would otherwise be considering traditional insurance. Okay, so they're healthy individuals, and they would typically be the ones that you would consider a traditional application for. Then there's your clients that don't want to go through a medical for whatever reason, and they want no medical insurance but with full underwriting. Then you've got the simplified issue carriers or cases, and then you've got guaranteed issues. So those are the 4 markets that this product is designed to compete with. So let's first start talking about the traditional clientele. So these individuals who don't mind, or you don't believe that they mind, going through not only all the underwriting questions and that whole process, but also all the paramedical requirements. This product, as I said, is going to be 10 to 15% probably more expensive than the traditional product. So the decision between going simplified and traditional is really going to be client driven in that case. They're going to have to be the ones that say to you, you know what, I don't mind, especially at younger ages. This is what I found at younger ages. In their 30s, we're really looking at $20, $30, $40, maybe $50 to $100 a year in difference. I don't know about you, but I've got kids in the house, and they don't bat an eye at ordering Uber Eats or Skip the Dishes and paying an extra $10 here and there for the convenience factor. I think that's how this is positioned. You say to your client, listen, you've got 2 options. We can go through the full underwriting, and we can probably get a great price and potentially even preferred rates if you're really healthy, or for an extra $10 a month or $5 a month, we can skip all of that, submit the application. It'll be done within an hour. You don't have to see anybody else. You don't have to answer a whole bunch of personal questions. It's pretty straightforward and easy. Will be done in probably 5-10 minutes tops. Which would you prefer? So that's the positioning of this product versus traditional. When it comes to non-medical, we already know that the client doesn't want to go through a medical for whatever reason. And so for them, it's going to be a similar conversation. It comes down to the questions. Do you want to go through the questions? And you, at this point, when you're going through the questions, you might want to say to the client, listen, we've uncovered a couple things in the questionnaire that is probably going to lead to some delays or lead to an APS. We might want to consider going with this route, considering it's only $5, $10 more a month. What do you think? And you give them the option to choose which one to go with, because that's what consumers want. They want to be educated and they want to be informed to make the right choice. And obviously, you want to do the right job for the client and offer them what you believe to be in their best interest. But sometimes what's in their best interest isn't what they want, and it isn't important to them. So it's important to give them the choice. When it comes to the simplified issue space, this I'm going to take a little bit more time to talk about because I'm sure many of you have dealt with the simplified issue providers in the last number of years, because I mean, let's face it, they've done a really good job at promoting the value and the positioning of their products. This product, I like to use an analogy of a swimming pool. This product is our first dip into the simplified issue space at SSQ. And so we are only playing in the shallow end right now. We're not quite comfortable playing in the deep end. There's only so much risk that we're willing to take right now. So for example, we're not offering a deferred death benefit product. This is only available as an immediate issue product, which means that's why there's 23 questions. Your client has to go through all of those medical questions to make sure that they qualify for it. We don't have a knockout. The only knockout, if you can't qualify for our immediate issue product, is to our guaranteed issue product. And you and I both know there's probably other products in the marketplace that are suitable. But if you've exhausted all of those and the only option available for your client is a guaranteed issue product, I would strongly encourage you to look at our product because of all the reasons we've already outlined. But back to simplified issue. You know, if we're competing with those other players, they're willing to take some more risk. So they are playing in the entire pool. They've got, you know, people in the deep end and the shallow end. As I said to you, we only want to play in the shallow end. So we're not going to look at people who have heart conditions. You know, if you've had a heart attack, that's in the deep end. You got to play with the others. But if you've suffered from type 2 diabetes, and this is where you might want to get your pen and paper out and make some notes. Because I'm going to highlight for you some of the areas where we are very competitive and who these clients are that are going to qualify for this product. So as I said, if you have had type 2 diabetes and it was diagnosed after age 40 and you haven't been suffering from at least 15 for 15 years or more, you're going to qualify for this, which is similar to the other companies that are offering immediate issue coverage for diabetics. If you've got build issues, our build chart is second to none. It's 20 to 30 pounds heavier than the competition. So you're going to be very happy to see that if you've had any issues in the past with build that they didn't qualify for immediate issue elsewhere, you might want to revisit it and have a look at our product. Marijuana has become prevalent, to say the least, in Canada. And with most companies, whether it's traditional or even some simplified issue providers, you're limited to 4 recreational joints per week in order to qualify either for the product at all or to qualify as a non-smoker. With us, we allow pot usage of up to 1 a day. So daily pot usage will be accepted as a standard non-smoker with us. Foreign travel. Most companies in the simplified issue space limit the travel to 12 weeks or 3 months. I don't remember how it's worded in the applications, but let's just say 12 weeks. So if it's limited to 12 weeks, then you're not going to qualify for immediate coverage. It's going to be a deferred death benefit. With us, we will allow you to travel to the accepted foreign destinations, which you can find in the application itself, for up to 6 months. So as long as your OHIP in Ontario is going to cover you, your health benefits, your Canadian health benefits, as long as you're in the country for at least 6 months, this product is going to be eligible for immediate issue. Financial issues, I'm not going to go through all of them, but obviously if you've had bankruptcy or, as I said earlier on, depression or other mental health issues, unless it's bipolar or schizophrenia, you're going to be able to qualify for this product. So as I said, this is designed for the healthy individuals or people that are perhaps just below average health, or maybe they've got a number of issues, but they're all mild, you know, blood pressure, cholesterol, etc. If they've got a bunch of issues that are all mild, then they're also going to qualify for this product. No APSs, no complicated underwriting, issued in under an hour, great price, and great compensation for you too. So that's a quick overview for how this product should be positioned, whether it's in the simplified issue space or in the traditional market space. It really comes down to convenience, transparency, because you and your clients can see all of the questions, and speed. And hopefully those are all appealing to you. I see there's a number of questions coming in. Again, if you joined late, please ask your questions in the question Q&A tab or the chat box, and Stephen Paul, who's one of our inside sales associates, will be happy to respond to that. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go into an eApp demonstration. So let me change screens here. Before I do, what I'm going to highlight for you is this product is, as I said, new. And perhaps we jumped the gun a little bit, and we launched it a little sooner than we might otherwise have because of the COVID pandemic that's hit us. Because right now you don't have the ability to run an illustration or create an illustration or run a quote off of our website or through our illustration software, and it won't be going into our illustration software because of the pending merger with La Capitale. We're not going to put the resources into updating our technology at this point because we're going to have to come out with new information, new technology shortly. So the only way to run a quote, or more importantly, get an illustration, is to actually go into the eApp itself. And I know that can be frustrating for you at times. So what I would encourage you to do is, as you can see on the screen, if you just go to winquote.net. This is a free service, and let's just do a hypothetical here. We'll do $400,000, and under the underwriting risk tab, you're going to click on Simplified, and what I choose, January 15th, 81. What's that? 40, age nearest. So here we go. So let's look at how WinQuote is going to illustrate this. So as you can see, there's this product here. That would be an underwritten product. It requires some underwriting. Here we are at $50.22 for this individual. And that's no underwriting. This is the product that's going to be issued in an hour. This product I can't speak of. This is a fully underwritten product. This is an underwritten product. To be honest, I'm not sure about Manulife's quick issue product, whether it's got any underwriting or not in it. This is the first one that I'm aware of that doesn't actually have any underwriting. And these are the products that we are really competing with. These are the products that have no underwriting, that you and your client know immediately, subject to an MIB investigation, whether or not they're going to qualify for this product. And as you can see, the price difference is quite substantial, $72, $77 versus $50. So basically, what's that? 50% more almost, or more than 50% more than our product for the same coverage. All right, so that's how I would temporarily, until we launch the new web illustration tool, which hopefully will be available soon. I wish I could tell you when, but I don't know. It will be available soon, but in the meantime, I would suggest that you use this. And as I said to you before, if you wanted to do a comparison, you click on this compare top 5, and it even shows you the renewals. And where is SSQ? Here you can see the 5-year renewal after the 20 years is $3,200 versus everybody else's renewals are substantially higher. Okay, so that's the benefit of the 5-year renewal. Even after 10 full years, if you look at the comparison in price, I mean, in most cases, we're actually still cheaper even in the second 5-year term than had we renewed for another 20-year term. So substantially better savings for you and your client, both short-term and long-term with this product. Now, how do you get to our eApp if you're not familiar? You go to ssq.ca. You're going to click on Login. You are an advisor, so you would click on that, and you would go to Electronic Application. When you log in, I'm just going to close it. I was already open in it before, so I'm going to show you what it's going to look like as soon as you get there. It's going to look like this. The first time you go in, it's going to ask you if you want to start a new session or if you want to go into a saved application. And this is a great benefit because I know not all providers offer you the ability to save your application. This is great. If you've already got your client's information, you can pre-fill it and really go through the whole eApp with your client in minutes, 3-4 minutes tops. You will be done with your client. I've already started an eApp just in the interest of time. We've only got about 15 minutes left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I would have gone into my saved applications and I would have chosen one of the saved applications. The one I've chosen is for, who was it? Here was Mr. Joe Average. And this is what you would see once you log in. I will have chosen non-face-to-face because I'm not going to be meeting with this client face-to-face. If I were, I could do it face-to-face, and they would basically just go through it on my screen, my device with me. But in this instance, I'm looking at it on a non-face-to-face basis. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tabs along the top, 7 of which you're going to need to go through with your client. And as soon as you do, you get a check mark that it's been completed and a line through it saying nothing further is required. What I'm just going to quickly show you is how it works with the client. So I'm going to edit this one so that you can see firsthand what you would tell your client. If you were my client, I would say, Mr. Client, what I'd like you to do is grab your phone, or if you're in front of your computer, open up your computer, go to your web browser, and in your web browser, what you're going to do is you're going to type nsg6.com, and this page is going to appear. Actually, I'm going to close this. nsg6.com. This is the page that your client is going to see. It's asking for their call code. As the advisor, every time you go in, there's going to be a different call code. 899 is the call code, so you would tell Mr. Client, Mrs. Client, 899 is the code, please input that, and now we are linked to each other. Now, whenever I go through a page, and in this case, I've already pre-populated all the pages, all I need to do is send it to the client. This is the message that you get saying, we sent it to your client. Your client, go back and confirm, was that the code, 899? Yeah, 899. And of course, there's a technical error because we're doing a live demonstration. I'm going to cancel this, and I'm just going to try it one more time in the hopes that it'll work the second time round. nsg6.com. Waiting for the code. I'm going to confirm the code is 899. Client types in 899. And it's still not working. So give me one more second. I'm going to close it and start again and hope that the only reason it wasn't working is because I had it sitting dormant for too long. Joe Average is the client. So again, it was a saved application. 880 is the call code. Now that I've gone in, I'm going to type in nsg6.com. And I forget 880. And excellent. Okay, so now we are connected. I'm going to hit edit this section, and I'm going to send it to the client. And now the client is going to see what I see. And their job is just to review it and say, I agree. Now, that so far has taken all of 5 seconds. Forget the technical issues I had at the beginning. You can imagine that each page that I have to go through with the client, they're all very short pages so that it's easy for the client to look, whether it's on their phone or on their computer, to make sure that the information that you've input for the application is true and correct. The spelling is correct. The date of birth is correct. Their smoking status is correct. Everything is correct because, again, this policy is going to be issued directly to the client without us touching it in less than an hour. I've left the coverage tab open. So this is where all the questions are. And we have a tool that actually has all the questions in print. So you don't have to actually go into the eApp to obtain the questions. So you can get that from your local wholesaler. And along with that, we've got an underwriting guide that at a glance, you can see that, for example, if your client has had a heart attack, and if they were to say yes to that, they're going to be declined for this product. They won't qualify for the product, okay? But if, for example, they say down here to type 2 diabetes, that yes, they have type 2 diabetes, it'll tell you in the underwriting guide as well as it does here that as long as they are over the age of 41, so no, they're not under the age, and they weren't diagnosed more than 15 years ago, that they're seeing their doctor at least 2 times a year, that their diabetes medication hasn't changed or increased in the last 6 months, and that they don't have any other complications resulting from the diabetes, like protein in the urine, etc. If they answer no to all those, then they're going to qualify for this product. And similar to the other products that are in the marketplace, it's simple yes/no questions. Again, speed, price difference of 10 to 60% cheaper in some cases, as well as compensation, are the reason why you want to start with this product. If your client is going to qualify for this product, they're not going to get a cheaper, better product anywhere else. But if they don't qualify for this product because of their health, then by all means, you're going to look at the next best option for your clientele. So basically, you go through all of this. Now, another thing that differentiates this product from the rest in the marketplace is something called behavioral bias. You can see we don't have a build chart built into this, okay? It simply asks for your height and your weight. And you input it, and after you input it, it's going to tell you whether or not you qualify for this product. Now, I've already told you that we are 10 to 30%, or sorry, 10 to 30 pounds more lenient than the competition, pretty much at all weights. So we're very fair here. And the reason the behavioral bias is in there is because the reinsurance companies are aware that when you put in print that somebody that's 5'8" and 272 pounds won't qualify because the cutoff limit is 270, what's the client going to do? They're going to say that they're 270. That really skews the pricing and the risk. And so that's why some of the questions that we have in here, we don't actually tell you what the exact answer is going to be, but through trial and error, you're going to end up finding it out yourself over time. Another example is the marijuana usage. In here, it doesn't say that we allow daily usage, but I can tell you that you'll find once you try it, if you try to apply for coverage with more than one joint a day, it'll be declined. If it's one joint per day, it will be approved. So it's something that you're going to have to become a little more comfortable with. But again, that's why we're going to be your first choice. Speed, price, and compensation are the reasons why it's worth it to take that extra couple of minutes to see if your client's going to qualify for this, whether it's going to win quote temporarily and looking at our questionnaire and the underwriting guide to see if your client's going to qualify. That few minutes is going to be worth it. Or reach out to your wholesaler. Ask them, send them an email or a text and ask them if your client's going to qualify, and we'd be more than happy to guide you and navigate you accordingly. As I said, hopefully within the next days or weeks, we'll have the web-based quotation and illustration tool available to you. But in the meantime, just reach out to your local wholesaler and we'll be happy to help you. If you're not familiar with here actually, I'm going to calculate this. It calculates the premium for you. The illustration tool is actually built into the software itself, so you don't need to upload an illustration. The only thing you'd ever have to upload with our e-app would be an LIRD form, which we're not going to get into today. Here you can make your illustration, and you would send this to the client just like you would have with all the other tabs, and your client on their end is going to see exactly what you've applied for, what the cost is going to be, what all of their answers were to their question, and they are going to agree that that's all true and correct. And then finally, the signature, I'll skip the other information because it's just fill in the blanks, it's pretty straightforward. The final part is for your signature. You click on the Generate Signature button. There's the disclosure. You're going to indicate where is your client, Toronto, Ontario, and you're going to send that to the client. What the client sees are the disclosures, so they're expected to read the disclosure. And then they've got a choice between 3 signatures. They're going to choose the one that looks the most like theirs or the one that they like the best, and they're going to hit agree. The declaration comes up saying that they understand this is an electronic signature and they accept that. They hit OK. And that's it. Your client is now done. Now all you need to do is an MIB check. Now, this is where there can be some confusion. I'm telling you that it's going to be issued in less than an hour, unless there's an MIB hit. And if there's an MIB hit, we don't know. We're going to have to consult with you and ultimately you with the client as to why there was an MIB hit. And so now this is when it'll leave this system and it goes through to our underwriting team to follow up with you to find out the reason for the MIB hit. Maybe they had a policy postponed due to I don't know, a pending investigation, and that's showing up on the MIB. But the investigation's been done. It doesn't impact any of the answers to this questionnaire. And so we are just going to reach out to you because we want to make sure that it doesn't impact any of the questions in this questionnaire. If it was as a result of a pending investigation, one of our questions is, do you have any pending investigations for which you don't know the results yet? We'll need you to just confirm, because we just had a hit on MIB that, 2 months ago, there was an MIB notice posted saying that there was pending investigation, and their policy with XYZ company was postponed. We just need you to confirm that that's not the case. It's been done, everything is fine, and then we'll issue the policy. But otherwise, if everything is clear on the MIB, it will be issued immediately. And then you would just send this to the client for their final confirmation, and they are done. Yes, we do accept credit card payments, and you just need them to also accept that the policy is going to be delivered electronically. That's the only other thing. So we have 5 minutes left. I'm just going to stop at this point. I'm going to make sure Stephen doesn't have any questions that need my attention. Stephen, did we get everything resolved for everybody on the call?
Yeah, all the questions were answered. There's just a couple outstanding ones that they'll need to go to their wholesalers for different opinions and things like that.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's great. So we are 4 minutes remaining. Again, I want to thank you all for your time. Understand that this is a new product. We have one wrinkle that we still have to work on, which is giving you the ability to quote it through our website itself. In the meantime, winquote.net is a great tool, a great resource for you that's available for free, or you can go to your MGAs, or if you are subscribing to LifeGuide, you can use that as well. Or at the end of the day, the wholesaling team all across the country is eager to earn your business and support you. So if there's anything else that we can do, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I want to again thank you very much for your time and doing business with SSQ. We very much appreciate it. And I look forward to hopefully speaking to you in the coming months about all the new and exciting things that are coming as a result of our merger with La Capitale. And I hope you're enjoying a wonderful summer. And thank you again very much.